From the 1011 Now streaming studio, this is The Night Beat.
Good evening, I'm Danielle Shenk with your headlines for Monday, March 17th. Congress is considering nearly $900 billion in Medicaid cuts, and Nebraska healthcare leaders are sounding the alarm. They warn these cuts would impact services for those with and without Medicaid. Today, caregivers and health leaders gathered at the state capitol, urging Nebraskans to speak out. The Nebraska Hospital Association says cuts could affect 350,000 Nebraskans, including 180,000 children. Centerpoint, a nonprofit healthcare organization in Lincoln, says 82% of its clients rely on Medicaid, and cuts could leave hundreds without care.
Hundreds of people who would be seeking care in emergency rooms, who'd be seeking care in urgent care systems, who wouldn't have the funds to pay for care at all, who wouldn't be getting their medications regularly, and probably encountering crises episodes, dealing with law enforcement, unable to care for their families every day.
Since 2019, Centerpoint's monthly client count has grown from 1,000 to over 1,800 due to Medicaid expansion, and cuts could force them to reduce services. Nebraska lawmakers heard testimony on a bill introduced by Senator Dan Lanuski of Hastings to protect gun owners' privacy. The bill would prevent state entities from keeping firearm ownership records, with exceptions for criminal investigations, and it would prohibit credit card companies from assigning separate merchant category codes to firearms retailers. Supporters argue it aligns with national practices, while opponents say it could strain community banks and affect customers. Another bill is looking to ban diversity, equity, and inclusion offices and programs from public colleges. Senator Lauren Lippincott of Central City argues that DEI programs create division, and removing them would eliminate political bias. The University of Nebraska president warns that ending DEI could affect scholarships.
The University of Nebraska Foundation is actively going through all scholarship fund agreements right now, looking for any that might be of concern to the recent letter from the Department of Education. And if they are identified, we'll work very closely with the donor to be sure that there is no element of discrimination.
UNO is one of 45 schools flagged by the Department of Education for using the PhD project, which the Trump administration claims limits eligibility based on race. Former Nebraska U.S. Senate candidate Dan Osborn is expanding his political options. According to the Nebraska Examiner, Osborn is eyeing a challenge against U.S. Representative Mike Flood in Nebraska's 1st Congressional District, as well as potential bids against U.S. Senator Pete Ricketts or Governor Jim Pillen. Osborn is known for his 2024 independent campaign against U.S. Senator Deb Fischer. Now to sports. The Husker women's basketball team secured a spot in the NCAA Tournament, marking their 4th appearance under coach Amy Williams. As a 10 seed in the Birmingham Regional, they'll face 7 seed Louisville this Friday at 5 p.m. On the men's side, they're accepting an invitation to the new College Basketball Crown Tournament. The Huskers will face Arizona State in the first round on March 31st at 7:30 p.m., airing on FS1. Selection Sunday brought excitement, especially for UNO, who earned their very first NCAA tournament spot. For fan Grady Strickler, a leukemia survivor in remission for 2 years, this moment was extra special. UNO head coach Chris Crutchfield invited Grady to their historic watch party.
And we tried to raise money and raise dollars for cancer research, for anything that we can do to help fight cancer. We thought it would be a great idea to have cancer survivors here with us.
Just to see him happy, just makes me happy.
Grady is starting his first basketball season, and while he's still learning the basics, his mom is simply excited that cancer won't sideline him anymore. Rounding out your night beat is a check of the 7-day forecast.
You've been listening to The Night Beat. Watch, listen, and stream on the 1011 app on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.